Hello everyone, my name is Fred. I'm the co-founder and CTO of Alpic, the MCP hosting company. Welcome to this fourth episode of Code with Fred, a series of tutorials where we help builders build MCP and ChatGPT app. This episode is a special one because we're celebrating today the release of V1 of Skybridge. Skybridge has been the open source framework the whole team has been working on to help builders build MCP apps. We've been working on it for the past 4 months, iterating on releases to make sure that we get the best API and the best development ways possible. We've packaged together dev tools, tunnels, helpers, intelligent typings to make sure the experience of building MCP app is the best possible. We're really proud of releasing V1 this week because it's stabilized the API to make sure builders can build upon Skybridge in the long run. Let's use today's time together to have a sneak peek on V1 of Skybridge. First thing first, the dev tools have been greatly improved. If you go to a locally running version of your server, you see these new interfaces that has been revamped from the ground up to make sure that it's easier than ever to interact with your server while still working in the development environment. As a reminder, DevTools comes packaged together with Skybridge. Whenever you start a Skybridge server on your machine, you have these DevTools available in your preferred navigator that will give you all the tools that you need to inspect tools available on your MCP server and views that comes with the server to make an MCP app. These interfaces gives you on the left side available tools currently on your server. This one, Start and Get Fortune Cookie, are two tools that come pre-packaged with a revamped starter kit of Skybridge. So whenever you create a new Skybridge project, instead of the former 8-ball demo application that has served us very well over the past few months, there is now a new demo application that I'm going to share with you today. So the only thing you need to start working with the demo app is to put in your name. And when you do so, you'll get greeted by our very famous MCP, which is an old reference to Clippy for those of you who are old enough to remember the small doc Clippy that was coming on every Windows machine to give you better insight on how to use doc and worksheets. So MCP is greeting me and letting me know that there are various APIs that I can use in my code base to make the best of what's available in MCP app. But I'm just going to go ahead and continue going through the various steps that are packaged together in this demo application. I have some explanation on how view state works and what it shares with the model. For example, here I can change MCP hat in order for the model to be aware of the same changes that happened. Up there, we've put the tool output and currently view state of the views that you're having a look at. If you remember, those were on the right side of the view rendering widget on the previous version of Skybridge. It's now on the top right side, and when I change the hat, you can see that the model context will update accordingly. I can close it back anytime to make sure I get the best of the available space and go to the next step of the tutorial that tells me how to trigger tools from the view itself. So as you've seen from the beginning, we had 2 tools exposed on this specific demo server. Start one to start this tutorial that is responsible for rendering the view and going with me through the different steps. And one that is a single tool, not directly linked to a view. And this one can be called from the view itself. So it's the same as calling the Get Fortune Cookie, it's just made directly from the view. There is so much more that you can learn going through the examples that we've put together, representing various types of apps that you can build. Of course, the imagination is your only limit, so don't feel constrained by those examples, but rather inspired and make your own app, make your own stuff. The full documentation has been completely revamped as well to make it much easier to read and understand. The APIs of Skybridge have been simplified as well, but just before we go through a little bit of the code base, let me share with you one or two things remaining on the dev tools. The first one I'm very happy to have straight away is the availability to start my tunnel directly from this interface. So I don't need to stop the development command to rerun it with the -- tunnel options in order to make the local environment exposed through an Alpic tunnel in the open internet for me to use the app that I'm currently developing in general LLM conversational agents like OpenAI ChatGPT or Anthropic Claude. This allows me to switch from running locally without my server being exposed to running remotely with my server being exposed, which opens up the availability, the possibility for me to use my app from the Alpic playground. So, and I can also run the audit, which is the beacon feature of Alpic that is going to inspect all the resources and tools exposed by my locally running MCP server and give me ways to improve on it. Okay, last but not least, let's take a look around about the new way of interacting in your code base with Skybridge. Of course, we still do recommend to use the skills that come packaged with Skybridge installation so that your coding agent of choosing can be used to craft the code application itself for the apps that you're trying to build. But you can still take a look at what APIs are available in order to better change what you want to. Here is the exact same demo application I was showing in the DevTools. That's the code responsible for generating this app. You can see a few things that we've changed for those of you who know already how was the V0 of Skybridge. We've unified everything behind the single register tool API that was part of the original SDK, but it now takes a view component optional properties to describe which component should be used to render the view that comes packaged with this tool, this start tool. You can still register tool which does not come with a view, like the getFortune cookie, which is responsible for returning one of the predefined prediction available on the server. We've also made the folder structure much simpler, and this is another update of V1 that I'm very keen on using on a daily basis. For those who remember, we used to have a server folder and a widget folder that splits the code base across backend, which was the MCP server code itself, and frontend, which was the view and component code. Now all of them are packaged in a single source repository, a source folder at the root of your repository, which comes with the server as the entry point, describing the various tools, but directly containing the views that are responsible for generating, for example, here, the start tool generates a component which is called onboarding. So if I go in the view and onboarding.tsx, I have my onboarding component. And also, I don't need to manually export and wrap with a custom helper components of your application. Now everything is done for you under the hood. It's now much more simpler to build MCP app. Nothing is preventing you from going there and start cracking. Use the skills that come together with Skybridge and make sure to build the app exactly as you envision it. We also welcome feedback. We have an open Discord that you can go to using the Discord button here on top of the dev tool. Feel free to reach out to the team over there or contribute on our GitHub repository. We're always welcoming new contributors that wants to help us make Skybridge an even better framework to work with. We're really happy and keen to see what you all think of the V1 that we've shipped. We've been putting a lot of thought and effort into it, and we hope you'll like it as much as we do. On that being said, until next time, take care. Bye-bye.